What up, guys? My name is Nicole Hemphill, and welcome to the second episode of my podcast, Silence in the Backcourt. Today, I have a very, very special guest, Mari Hernandez. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really, really good. I'm so excited to have Mari here because we had a wonderful friendship in high school, and after hearing what happened to her in college and the kind of difficult relationship she had in her sport in college, I really saw some parallels with my story, and so I couldn't have thought of a better person to have on my podcast for the very first episode. And also, we have another special guest. My dog, Jinx, is under the coffee table. If she makes an appearance, I'm gonna be so happy. I think you can see like her ear in the camera, but she's also very happy to be here too. But back to Mari. Mari, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I mean, there's so many parallels between my story, your story, and other people's stories, especially people who, weren't injured for a year, who didn't mainly, freshman year, sit the bench, and, there's people that had so much other stressors, and I think that's also something that I can take away, is also telling these other people's stories from at least my perspective, especially being injured for such a long time during COVID and seeing all these things kind of from a outside perspective whilst being inside is really interesting. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for what you're doing here in general, whether it's I know you're writing a book, but you're also starting this podcast. And I think it's so important that women's voices, but not only women's, but athletes in general, are heard about mental health, or heard about, the differences between the treatment between men and women, and also, just the culture of collegiate sports in general when it comes to, I guess, the consumerism of it all.
Yes, for sure. And the parallels between you and I are very similar, and along with the other young women going through what they're going through now, they're kind of conditioned into thinking, well, this is just how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
My coaches are ugly to me. Sometimes my teammates aren't cool to me. This is just how it's supposed to be, right? But in reality, it's just a gross level of conditioning that we're just kind of put through, in that, hey, if it was like this for other people, it's okay for them to treat me like this now. Well, in reality, we could always be trying to treat people better. And at the baseline of it all, we're all human beings, and we're not just a cog in the capitalistic consumerist machine of it all that is the NCAA.
Yeah, whether or not you are sitting the bench the entire time, or whether or not you're playing a full 90 minutes or 4 quarters, at the end of the day, you matter. No matter what, whether you've done something bad or you've done something that you're not proud of, you should still end up getting the same respect as other people, and I just mean that as an emotional level. I'm not saying that, hey, everyone should get exact same playing time or anything, especially at a collegiate level, but to have respect to even the people that are sitting on the bench,
because they earned their spot just like everybody else did, and they are a human being deserving of respect. Bottom line, your managers should be treated with the same level of respect as your starters.
Exactly.
At a human level, we are humans first before we are athletes. Before we put on a jersey, we should be treated the same way. And have a equal opportunity to be treated like human beings. Not everything has to be a punitive thing. Even if we lose a game, it doesn't mean that, okay, the next practice, we know we're going to get our asses run just because my coaches are mad, or just because I missed a free throw at the end of the game, which, that sucks. We need to work on stuff, but it shouldn't be out of a malicious standpoint of, it is your fault, I'm mad at you, and now everybody's going to pay the price. It shouldn't be punitive. You should be a kind of coach creating an environment that makes your athletes want to go to the gym. Or wants to be on the pitch. They want to go. You shouldn't be making it to where your kids don't even want to get out of bed because they're like, oh, shoot, I got to go to practice. Or coach is in a bad mood. It's it shouldn't be miserable because you're getting this opportunity and you're happy you've been given this opportunity. But you've also earned this opportunity, and you're not in debt to a person that's treating you less than human.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any competitiveness, because obviously it's a sport. But at the same time, there's so much. There has been every single team I've been on, there is hierarchical, standards that are there, based off of the coaches, and they want to. And a lot of coaches want to blame a lot of the environment from the girls or the students, whatever it may be. But specifically collegiately, Like, yes, whilst we have a lot of say, and obviously we're the ones creating these relationships with everybody else, it's also them pinning us against each other.
Yes.
That hurts us so much. Mm-hmm. And it hurts not only our sense of self, but it also hurts our sense of community. You know, because whilst they're saying y'all are all one team, y'all are all one family, they're also saying snitch on everybody, tell it, or if they're saying anything bad about me, like, I've never understood that. What coaches are like, if somebody says something bad about me, tell me, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what you sign up for. You know, I knew signing up as a coach that not everybody's gonna like me, not everyone's gonna say the right things about me, but I can't control what they say behind my back.
Yeah.
But it's the coaches that try and go and control everything. You know, when their interaction or their intervening is what caused majority of the problems.
Right. Yeah. So, no, I'm in complete agreement. You sign up to be critiqued. Yeah. I mean, and too, as a coach, you should never stop being a student of the game yourself. Yeah. And you can't hold yourself to this pedestal in that, you know, because I'm in a position of power, because I am a coach, because I have now subordinates or the players that I'm now controlling, doesn't mean you are the expert of your field. Like, yeah, you are in a position where you are controlling your program and everything, but too, there's always things that you can learn and get better at. And yeah, there are going to be some athletes that don't like what you're doing, but at the end of the day, you have to swallow that. Yeah. And yeah, if they're talking mess about you behind your back, if it becomes a cultural problem where your team doesn't trust you or something, maybe, you bring people in and you let their voices be heard and then we make an adjustment. But it shouldn't be to the point to where you are now feeling insecure as a human being and you're getting your kids to snitch on and like having ears in the locker room, and that's why your teammates don't trust each other and everything.
Then this is the wrong profession for you.
Exactly. Like, you don't think their parents are talking mess about you too? Yeah. Like, everybody is talking mess, but you have to be able to take critique and move forward and learn the game, listen to your players, and then learn how to make adjustments.
Which is so interesting because they're, like, our jobs kind of revolve around, to an extent, critiquing. Obviously, the majority of it is motivating, is wanting these kids to get better, but also we're critiquing, you know? So it makes no sense as to where they can kind of just let out critiques but not save any for themselves, right? You know, but the main reason why I came on is just because there's so much manipulation that goes on, and so much manipulation that is either through like generational things, you know, whether it's like don't complain to the coach, don't complain to your parents, don't complain to your teachers, anything like that. But as women in general, whenever you complain, that's who you become to other people in their eyes, especially to men. You know? And so there's so many things that happened that were not justified, or they were ethically wrong in like both of my collegiate schools and stuff, but when girls went up and girls talked to them, they were would talk to the admin or whoever it was, they were seen as the girls who, you know, were doing too much. Or we're getting the coach in trouble, or what was going to happen, or if they call me, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. But it's not because we didn't say anything wrong. It's not that well, you just got to suck it up. You just got to let him talk to you however he wants to talk to you. You got to let him and it's hard because, like we've talked about, it's not that we're not competitive. It's not that we don't want to do sprints. It's not that we don't want to do conditioning, or that somebody yelling at us is too much. It's the way that they do it, because a lot of times it's derogatory. I'm not saying all coaches, but and a lot of times it's patronizing, and a lot of times it's all these different things that they say, don't let it leave this practice. Yeah. Which, number one, they're saying that to be like, hey, you don't need to talk about this because, like, this isn't how I actually feel or whatever. Everything that's said in practice doesn't mean anything off the field. I'm like, well, then what are you teaching us about the game? Yeah. Because the game, every game itself is essentially like just an add-on to life, right? It's just to show you different ways that you can use your brain, essentially, right? But when we say something on the field, it's never put into that context. There's always a punishment or something like that, whether or not we said it in a correct fashion. Right. So it's just, I've seen so many girls that were like, oh, I would talk to them, but there's always this but, because they're always scared of getting either prosecuted or persecuted by the rest of their team and stuff like that, you know, so it's really hard for girls to go and stand up and talk to other people because we've been conditioned to, if we say anything, then we're either annoying, doing too much, or just being women.
Yeah,
you know?
We're conditioned into silence, which that's what we have, silence in the backcourt. So I don't ever want women, and especially women within our field, to feel like demanding a level of treatment of basic human decency. It shouldn't be an act of courage, but it is, because we've been so conditioned into silence, this cone of silence, and that we can never report because they're not going to listen to us. They're going to think we're hysterical. It's going to go back on us because like we are not allotted more mistakes than men. Like, we are not allowed to make mistakes. So if we complain, right? If we talk about how we're not being treated as humans, no, you're just girls complaining, right? Yep. And so like that is the conditioning of silence that we're hearing. So at no point should me asking to be treated like a human being, it shouldn't have to be an act of courage. Yeah. But it is, because we're terrified, but we're doing it anyway. And that's why we have created this platform, so we can be courageous and speak up and talk about what we've gone through in hopes that it doesn't happen to other people. So like I said, thank you for being here, and thank you for being the first person to step up and do this. It means the world to me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I just knew that like future me would not be very happy with myself if I didn't do it. Oh, and also I want to do it, so.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Can you talk to me about your relationship with your sport growing up? Like, when did you start playing soccer, and what was life like whenever you started?
Yeah, well, I started playing soccer all the way back when I was 3. We're not going to go too in depth into that, but yeah, I mean, it always was surrounded by enjoyment, and you know, even when you're young, I don't know what it is about when you're younger. They think that you can play multiple games throughout the day, and so they would have us play like 3-4 games for a tournament every single day. And I know there's smaller fields and everything, but those were the best times because you would spend an entire weekend with your friends and families and whatever. But as you get older and things get more competitive, that culture starts to change a lot, because it's, why is my kid playing over your kid and all that kind of stuff, right? But even then, like, I think the club, like, I went into club soccer and everything, and now thinking back on it, club is pretty, it's kind of elitist, is it not?
No, I agree. I see the same thing with AAU basketball. You have to pay a lot of money to get better and to reach this certain standard, and it's not as accessible as it should be.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I like about, at least around where I'm living right now, is that they have kind of created a club for inner city kids and stuff. That's what I'm saying, is that's the thing, is like you have the options to use all these different types of trainers from the moment that you turn 11 or 12 or whatever, right? And of course nobody in other socioeconomic communities are going to have that opportunity,
right?
But anyway, so I was on scholarship for a long time at club, luckily because my family knew people, but we were also like didn't have money, so it was valid. But we would go to showcases all around the country. I went to New Jersey, Vegas, Phoenix, Dallas, all this for those types of showcases and stuff. And it really is just you ponying around everywhere, you know, you sending emails to coaches and all that. But right when that started, I could feel just a shift in just the attitudes of everybody. Everything was either I hate this sport or it's so cutthroat, because it being cutthroat made a lot of people hate it. By the time I was a junior, senior in high school, and they quit. Or it was people who did not care about you, even though y'all knew each other for however long, because I need to get into whatever college I want to go to, which is great. But that's where I can, but that's all I'm saying, is that there's that transition, and then you get to college and it's even worse, you know? the way that we talk to each other is so interesting when it comes to, at least on the field in soccer. Like, we could say whatever to each other, and to an extent, like, that's okay, and we get it, it's in the heat of the moment, but we also just echo kind of what those coaches say anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so instead of it being yelled at from you from 50 yards away, now it's only from 10 yards away, and it's your friend saying it in your face very, very angrily because either you didn't pass them that pass or that you missed that shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And although it helps us grow thick skin, it is still not okay, you know?
Yeah. I and that kind of leadership too, like we have to talk about leadership trickling from the top to the bottom, and your coach should be able to compose themselves and speak with their athletes with a level of rationality, and have emotional rationality. And personally for me, I was never motivated by a coach that screamed in my face. That was never, I felt like that was disrespectful. It was counterintuitive, just specifically for me. I guess some other people like that, but two, you have to know how to talk to people, and if you talk to your athletes like that, they're going to start talking to each other like that. And when majority of people don't respond to that level of rhetoric, they are not going to just be able to leave it out on the field. That's going to go into the locker room. Girls are not going to know how, or people in general are not going to know how to talk to one another. And that's when you start taking it personally. Because, you are my friend, but you just yelled at me the way the person I hate, my coach, just made me feel worthless. You are now making me feel worthless. And I'm taking that back to the locker room. I'm taking that back home. I'm wondering how we're still going to be friends.
In front of stands of people as well. And a whole other team.
On a stage of people.
Yeah.
And you're expected to perform after that. Like, not gonna lie, you did hurt my feelings, but remember, we're athletes. We're not allowed to have feelings. Yeah, we're robots.
You can say whatever you want to me. What do you mean?
No, but when we look at it...
You're allowed to call me a pile of shit.
Right?
Right?
But, like, too, if we think about it, and this is a business, right? They're making money off of us. But in any other business, let's say I'm working at, like, I don't know, Dunder Mifflin Paper Company or something. I'm working at some place. If my boss says something, told me that I was a pile of shit, I'm immediately going to HR. Like, that's unbelievable. No, but, like, we're not treated like employees. They're making money off of us, yes. But we're not expected to be treated like human beings. So you can't sit there and tell me that, hey, no, this is a business. We're going on a business trip. But my boss, my coach, gets to call me a worthless piece of shit. Absolutely not. That's not okay, because in any other context, how is that even preparing you for the adult world?
Yeah.
You're teaching women that we can't report. So now when I leave the adult world, when I leave college sports or whatever, I go into the adult world, now I'm scared to report certain things because that's just the culture, that's just how it's supposed to be. But in reality, it's not supposed to be like that. In no way would I ever let one of my coaches or even one of my teammates that was talking to me sideways talk to me like that in a professional setting. But whenever I've been conditioned to accept that level of behavior and irrational rhetoric, I'm going to take that with me because that's what I learned, and that's why women don't like to report abuse.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, it translates exactly into that, is that when they get abused in any other setting, they're like, well, nobody's going to listen to me. Because there's so many instances. There has been, probably off the top of my head, between the two colleges that I went to and played at, where the bench at. But I was hurt for like a year.
No, I got you. Me too. Me too.
There was probably 4 or 5 instances that I know of where girls went and talked and said legitimate ethical problems that were happening within the coaching staff, and nothing was done. And it consistently tells us that, hey, you're just going to be screaming into a void for the rest of your life. Right? Because then we do that in other settings, and if we also think about it too, you think about how long men have been able to participate in sports, at least in the United States, and about how long women have. And the male coaches are essentially, like, even though they use it to their advantage a lot of times to like talk down to women, but they're essentially coaching like men. Right? They're coaching. They think that the skills that they're using, that coach men, they can coach us. And so I think about that too, and I think about how many men have also it contributes to that patriarchal culture of don't say anything because you're essentially a pussy. You know, if you do. And so you think about that as well. And there's going to be men that watch this podcast and be like, these girls are such whatever. They just need to, you know, toughen up and be able to take shit and whatever. But at the same time, like, I just feel so sorry for you because there's so much that you deserve as basic human rights as a person and basic human decency that nobody in general should be able to talk to you like that.
Exactly. No, and I know, I'm just waiting for the comment section of, Nicole, because you average 2 points a game. And it's like, look, I played on the Division I level. Mm-hmm. The only 1% of people, high school kids, go on to play at the Division I level. And then I made hard sacrifices throughout my college career reporting my coaches for ethical issues, two of which, as you said, no avail. Mm-hmm. I talked to my Title IX coordinator at least 3 times at my last school. My other teammates talked to my Title IX coordinator too. They were reported on at least 6 different times, to my knowledge, within 1 year. Nothing was done. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, when they find out who reported them, right, do you really think that anyone's going to average more than 2 points or even get a chance to play? Like, there are sacrifices that women make for other women even and for ourselves to make our treatment better. Mm-hmm. And so, for me personally, I had issues with my coaches, and I was like, hey, no, this is bigger than basketball. We deserve to be treated like human beings, not like robots. We're not just meat, right? Yeah. And so I made decisions on behalf of my team to make reports, and things got better for a little bit, but the sacrifice was already made. Like, I wasn't going to play. Yeah. So I completely understand what you're saying. You're screaming into a void, but even when you're screaming into a void, there's still punitive implications and repercussions to even opening your mouth to that void.
It's like a one-way tunnel, essentially, that you're hearing. Like, and the coaches are at the other end, and they're gonna come back and retaliate in whatever way.
Mm-hmm. She's just got sour grapes. She's just mad because she sits the bench. No, I'm mad because I'm working my ass off in practice and earning the time that I deserve. In practice, but because of your vindictiveness and that I had the courage to go and report you for your dumbass behavior, I am now sitting. But to everybody else, to like the athletic coordinator and the other people and the higher ups that hired you, that are now contractually involved with you.
They don't want to look stupid.
No, they don't want to. They have to protect their investments, right? They hired these people. They can't look back as they hired an ethical, unethical, corrupt human being. Like, so at the end of the day, we're treated less than human to protect the people they hired. And we have to feel
like Vietnam.
Oh my gosh, it's so messed up. It's so not okay. So this is our opportunity to finally talk about it.
Yeah, and without anybody like telling us that we can't. You know, it's so interesting because it was at both of my colleges that this occurred. Like at both of the places, or both pieces of the coaching staff, and I think a lot of it. To an extent, I mean, you had female coaches, so that's also different. But I feel like for at least soccer, it's such a male-dominated sport. I mean, globally, right? A lot of my coaches were British throughout when I was growing up. I guess they migrated over here, decided to coach, whatever. It's a lot easier, a lot more jobs here. But I feel that they just use a lot of women's sports that also have, you know, a men's side to it, as they use women as stepping stones, right? One of my coaches had essentially told me that we were just his next step to going to boys soccer, and I'm just like, but does that mean you're giving us 110%? Does that mean you actually care about us? Because why would you say that we're a step? You know, why would you say that we're the means to an end, you know? Because this is our end of most of our careers in this sport, you know? Like, I had no idea how much I would cry I barely played that last game. I don't think I played that last game that was our last game in playoffs, and I just started sobbing once the whistle blew, because I just realized this is the last piece of my childhood, you know, and that had still lingered. And so for coaches to kind of take that with a grain of salt and not care how they talk to people and not think about the implications that their words have, because in any other scenario, your words matter, but apparently once you step on a patch of grass, they don't. Which makes no sense to me, because it doesn't mean that we just stop feeling. It doesn't mean that we stop, you know, processing all the words that they've told us, but it's the fact that they get essentially a free pass to say whatever, whether we're there or even on a bus or even in, you know, in a hotel or whatever. They treat us like we're this big. And I'm like, at this point, although yes, we're adults and, you know, we're young, we still are adults. Yeah. And collegiately, and so, like, I don't know, it's just, it's hard that it's a disease that will take a long time to, you know, I guess just die out.
Yeah, and it only dies out until, like, we take steps like this to talk about it. Yeah. And you bring up the stepping stones, and it makes me think that in their mind, they are thinking long-term career-wise. But, like, your career may be, like, this big to you, but in reality, like, there are not a lot of a lot of people aren't going to go play professionally, right? So our career spans from, like, you started playing when you were 3 till college. So, that's an emotional part of your life, in that it is now ending. The whole, a piece of you that you kind of wrapped up into your identity is now kind of leaving you in a way that you will never get back. And like, you are you're a coach now, but like, you'll never like suit up and go out and play on the pitch and anything. You won't be able to do that anymore the way that you used to. For them, that doesn't really matter, because their career is right here, and you're just a very, very minuscule part of what they're going to do. But in reality, human beings treating other human beings presently, it's a big deal. Like, I'm to you, I may be that little piece, but you know what, that is a big piece of my life. And your actions, taking ugly actions towards that little piece, that's a huge piece to my life, it matters so much, because like, you'll never forget him telling you that. You'll never forget the ugly actions he did, because that tainted part of your beautiful memories of soccer. But to him, it's just a small thing. I don't even care. Like, that's just a big part of my career, and you were a stepping stone. No one wants to feel like a doormat, and I'm so sorry he made you feel like a doormat.
Thank you. I'm so sorry so sorry for you and any other girl that literally has gone through any of this, but I'm really sorry.
Well, I think this is a great time to transition to halftime. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head to the penalty box. All right, y'all, welcome to the penalty box. During this halftime performance, we will be reading your submissions that you have given us. Mari over here has our certain flags as we analyze our stories. So, Mari, we have a flag on the play. The next one, we have a red card, yellow card, and we do have a green flag. Like I said before, we will be analyzing your submissions and talking about different situations that you guys have encountered and analyze them and see how things could have been handled better. Here's our submission. My sophomore year, I was so excited to play with my best friends and meet our new coaches. The beginning of the season was great. The environment was good and everyone enjoyed what they were doing. In the middle of the season, unfortunately, I got through a battle in my head and struggled so severely with my mental health, and no one noticed at first. Still, it got worse because I had coaches who ripped me apart and made me feel like I was the worst player out there. During practices, I was giving it my all, and my coach would tell me how good I was doing and how I would get the playing time I deserved. Then game day comes, and they find a reason to bench me. Then I started to see the cycle repeat, and I kept getting beaten down.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Why do we have a flag on the play, Mari?
Because that's what I feel like a lot of coaches do that. You ask for feedback or for help or anything like that, and whenever it comes to you not playing, oh, well, this is the justification. Well, why didn't you tell me that so I could work on it? You know, as opposed to, and that's a part of like them needing you to be there to actually help you, you know, as opposed to, oh, well, you're not one of my star players, so I'm not going to worry about you. Right. You know, you're just filling seats or whatever.
And you can provide critiquement without belittling and just demeaning people.
Yeah, I would also say that that's manipulation as well, to say, hey, you're doing that really, really good, nothing to work on, but then when you're like, okay, if I'm doing good, nothing to work on, then I should be playing, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get the playing time I deserve, like you said I would.
Yeah, as opposed to just being truthful.
Yeah.
As, you know, because I think a lot of coaches just don't want to have those hard conversations of like, hey, you're just not where you need to be, like, at this spot or this spot physically or tactically, but here's what we can do to help you.
Right.
As opposed to, well, you're just not going to get there, I guess. You'll be cut next year.
Exactly. Like, as an athlete, you are deserving of honesty, especially from a person of authority, a person that's overseeing you. You are owed a sense of transparency.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to continue. We'll give you that just in case. Then game day comes and they find a reason to bench me. Then I started to see the cycle repeat and I kept getting beaten down. They would pull me into their office and I would tell them how bad my mental health was, and it was so bad my mom got involved because they would just brush it off and continue to beat me down. There was one game in particular that will forever be in my mind. The night before, I got a call from one of the managers telling me I won't be playing because I left early that day due to mental health matters, and when I heard that, it broke me into pieces. That I'm now benched because I left early from school for my mental health. And my mom was so upset, and we were all confused. Next morning, I come in for our game, and they pull me aside and tell me that I can either start and do a punishment on Monday or be benched. At this point, I had no motivation, no one believed in me, and everyone gave up on me. So I chose to be benched, and they got upset, and I told them I refused to do a punishment because I left early for mental health matters. In parentheses, this person wrote, they only wanted me to start because there was no one else there. After that, my mental state was so bad, I kept telling them how bad it was, and again, no one believed me. Then it got so bad, I tried to take my life. And when they found out, it was the end of the world to them because they missed it, and they feel so bad for it. They tracked down my best friend and asked how I did it, and she cried and told them what happened. After I finally came back, everyone had eyes on me for the first time, and I hated it, because after that, they suddenly seemed to care. I was so sad that it came to the point where I had to quit because it came down to life or death. Coaches need to take more responsibility to check on all their players, no matter if they have a mental illness or not. Thank you, Coach Hemp, for taking on that responsibility. From the first day you met me, you were on my side with open arms. I couldn't thank you enough.
You good?
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah. It's a green flag for you, but it's a mixture of all those other coaches.
Yeah. I'm really sorry that your stories weren't, like your truth wasn't taken seriously.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I'm happy that I was there, but it hurts me to know that, I mean, that was my first year coaching. That was my first year doing that. And it shouldn't take a first-year coach that's not necessarily trained in mental health and to show empathy. Your coaches should have done that because they were older, they had more experience, they had more life experience in general.
They don't believe it's real.
They don't believe it's real, and that's not fair. That's not okay. It shouldn't take a new person that has an ounce of empathy in them to do that for you. And I'm so sorry.
This is and if she were to have lost her life, it would have been their fault.
Definitely a contributing factor, yes.
Well, I mean, it would have been their fault in the sense of, I have told you numerous times, I had my parents involved, and you still continuously, obviously we don't know the entire context, but for a girl in general to feel that, doesn't necessarily have to do with comfort, but to feel so uncomfortable in their lives that they have to tell their coaches, especially when they're so fearful of them like that, means a lot. And it means that they're being truthful and honest with you. Why would anybody ever lie about their depression? Or about, who wants to be seen as less?
Right.
You know, you think that when people come up and tell you, well, I have this, or I have this, and they're an athlete, we're not used to having excuses. So by us telling you that, it is us being vulnerable, and then you taking it and running off with it like it never mattered.
Yeah.
And there's essentially telling that person that she didn't matter. But now that, you know, the repercussions could have happened where she could have lost her life, not only her teammates, but also the coaches are now taking it seriously. But I have no doubt that half the reason why her teammates and friends were taking it seriously was because of the coaches not taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. I have no doubt that they had comments on the side. Maybe they didn't. But I know a bunch of coaches that say a girl got hurt, like physically hurt, they'd be like, she's not hurt. She's faking it. I'm just so over it. I'm so over her being hurt. And that's also another thing, is just they never believe you whether you're hurt mentally or physically.
And then they suddenly believe you and say that, how did we miss it? I mean, there were signs that she went up to you and she told you, and that just goes to show you are making it to where you only care about her when she's convenient to you, whenever there's no one else. Like, you need her to start, right?
Yeah.
Now you care about her. But you didn't care about her whenever her mom had to get involved, and when she was coming to you and telling you, and you only cared when it was convenient, and that's so wrong. She's a human being.
Yeah, these are young, especially these being young people. Like we were talking about earlier, like these kids and even us, like being 24, 23, 24, our brains still aren't developed.
Yeah.
All of these things have very big repercussions within our brain development, within our personal growth, that not everybody, that these older adults, I guess, maybe living however many years after turning 25, are like, well, it doesn't affect me now. Well, yeah, but it affects these kids who literally have only lived a good 20 years of life, if not that, you know?
And, like, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
It's justified. It's justified because...
It makes me so angry to think that, like, this person said she was a sophomore year, so she's in high school, right? I mean, in high school, your worldview is just so small. Like, that you only have seen the city that you grew up in. You only see, like, your high school and everything. Your concept of, like, you're going to grow out of this, you're going to go to college, you're going to meet different people, everything is so far away, so you only are seeing what's right in front of you. And as a coach, one of the things that are right in front of this person is you and how you treat them. And so whenever someone that is so big in your life, you ignore them whenever they're struggling, you're showing them that big piece in their life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
well, essentially for her, that her life doesn't matter. In general.
You're confirming to her those thoughts in her mind that are compelling her to do these bad things to herself. Like, by you saying that you don't care because you're not doing anything about it.
Or not saying anything at all,
Yeah, you're kind of condoning those thoughts. Yeah. And I want to tell you, whoever submitted this, you are enough.
Yes.
You are more than enough. Outside of basketball, outside of your academic validation, you being a human being and taking the breaths of air you do every single day makes you enough.
Yeah, and you matter.
And you matter.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Whether you've done something, whether you haven't done anything, and literally there's this whole speech that Ted Lasso gives about how, and I gave it to my kids at the last day of school this past year because it was my first and last year with them as student teaching, but it's just how no matter what you've done, no matter who you've hurt, no matter if you've been hurt, you matter. And to always just believe in yourself, because that's the only person who's going to believe in you, obviously, like unconditionally, but at the same time, I didn't understand that the first time watching that around, like, you matter. I'm like, yeah, I matter, but then I get it intrinsically. No matter what, you matter. Yeah. You know? It sounds so redundant, but it's just saying, for you to exist, for you to be, means that you matter. Whether or not you grew up here or there, or whether you have this mental health issue or that mental health, or less than the next person. You should still be able to have that basic human decency or respect.
Exactly. And you as a coach, right? You're kind of left with this responsibility of, I have to love these kids unconditionally. It doesn't matter if they're scoring 10 points a game or they're sitting on the bench. You have to love them unconditionally. If you really care about these kids, you have to love them unconditionally.
And there's no
stipulation. It's not, because it's like people don't have empathy.
Yeah.
And so when they come and they have mental health issues, and that goes back to what you were saying about these individuals needing more training. I mean, this is at the high school level. Yeah, we go through like PD training and all this stuff. It's just like, those are the kind of attributes that should have been used in this situation. If they're being trained properly, that's the kind of stuff that, like, you should have been able, these coaches should have given this individual better resources and reaffirmed to them, like, hey, you matter. It does not matter if you sit the bench, if you start, if you're having mental issues and you're in your brain, you're not being kind to yourself, like, give them resources, reaffirm to them that, hey, regardless of what happened in this game, regardless of what is happening at home, I care about you and you matter, not just because you are my player, but because you are a human being worthy of love.
I'm surprised that it wasn't, not surprised, but it is to take into account that if this is at the high school level and these are in fact people that are hired through the district, they have a obligation, if they hear anything even remotely close to self-harm, to report it to the counselor immediately. Them themselves, even when I was a student teacher, they said, if you hear it, you have to go and do it. You don't go and tell somebody else and tell somebody else to go tell somebody else. You go and do it, because you're the person who heard it and you have the first-hand account. So that's not only that could also be a lawsuit. Like, to all you coaches out there that, you know, have had players come in, like, if you didn't handle it well the first time, okay, but at the same time, if another kid comes in, it is your responsibility. And if anything happens to that kid, it is your responsibility that something happened to them if you didn't take the time to report it. Because we are the people who are supposed to know better. We are the people who are supposed to look out for these kids, as opposed to them always looking out for themselves. Yes, they should have autonomy as they get older, but we have to look out for them, especially because, like all our parents love to say, we don't know anything about the world. If they don't, then teach them, help them. You know, you can't just expect the world of them when they haven't even been out into it.
And, you know, and I'm going to say this with my full chest right now. The whole, I'm not confrontational, I can't handle that. If they come up to me, I just don't know what to do. Do better. Learn. Give them resources. If you are in a position of power, I'm sorry, I'm an adult, I'm going to calm down. But you are an adult. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I'm going to calm down. You are an adult, right? You have to learn how to be uncomfortable because the world is uncomfortable. So if a kid comes up to you with a deep struggle and they feel comfortable, and it's uncomfortable for that kid to come and talk to you. Them being vulnerable in general is uncomfortable, and opening up your heart about what's going on in your mind is uncomfortable. You have to put your pride aside and grow
in your comfort.
And open yourself up with open arms and just grab that kid and give him a hug. And you may not know what to say in that moment, but it doesn't take a lot to make a kid feel like you care about them. Even if you don't have the right words to say. Like, hey, I love you.
And that's why I did the last day of school. When I left, I told every kid, I was like, you matter. I love you. If you need anything, I'm here. I know you're going to do amazing. Because I truly believe that for all of them. And I said it all in different variations and everything. But I knew that me saying that, even though I had over 150 kids altogether, I know that if I said something like that to every single one of them, because they've all had an impact in my life, that they would feel that and know that, that somebody cares about them, whether or not they see them or not. You know, and knows that somebody outside of the people that are unconditionally supposed to. And even though, and a lot of those kids don't even have that. Most of my kids don't have that. They don't have like parents that are together. They don't have parents that can. 80% of the kids that I've worked with are underneath the poverty line at both schools. And so I think about that, and I think about all the struggles and hardships that they've gone through that I don't have to go through. That I didn't have to go through, and also probably still don't have to go through as an adult. Meanwhile, these kids are literally like financially supporting their parents, you know, and going to work after. If you don't make it a practice, okay, I get it. You're literally working 2 jobs. I'm never gonna be angry about that, you know, as long as you communicate that with me. Whether it's before or afterwards. But there's coaches that take that, and I get it. Yes, all the girls were there for all the practices, but there's some things that are out of your control that you can't deal with, and you shouldn't be punished for that. You know,
there shouldn't be a punitive response for taking care of yourself. Bottom line. especially when it involves mental health. Mental health matters just as much as physical health does.
But they can't see it, and so they're like, well, it's not there. Meanwhile, there's something that that a lot of these people practice that they can't see that.
And you can't say that it's not there whenever you have kids coming up to you and being vulnerable and talking to you about it. And you saying, oh, I just don't know what to do in those situations. Do better.
Then leave. Get out of here.
Leave. You are an adult in a position of power, and it is your job to figure that out and just show the kid that you love them, and that's not hard. Having empathy, in my opinion, is not very hard.
It's not, and I don't.
And so, like, thank you so much for submitting that. Like I said, I'm really sorry that was not handled the way it should have been, but I want you to know that, I mean, I don't know who you are, but I love you, and I care about you, and even on the days that you feel like you don't love yourself, please know that I do. And Mari doesn't know who you are, but she loves you too.
I do too, because that's the reason why we're doing this, is for all the people that we love, especially like young girls and boys that feel that they don't have any other space to listen to that actually reflects the feelings that they're feeling within sports.
Yeah, you matter, and you're more than enough, always. Well, that is all the time we have. Thank you so much, Mari, for coming and speaking with us. I feel like this was wonderful and very productive.
I had so much fun. I'm so excited.
And I hope to have you back sometime to talk about some more stuff.
Never.
I would love it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
He's saying he hates me from behind the
camera. Speaking of from behind the camera, I want to give a special shout out to our crew, Peyton and Connor. Thank you so much for everything that y'all do. We love you. This wouldn't be a successful thing without you guys. So thank you very, very much. Wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. And yes, if you're listening, if you're tuning in, please know that you are more than enough. Always.